Okay, so I'll begin this class, and if you guys want, you can keep your videos on, okay, so that I know whether your response is there or not, because sometimes the microphones don't work. All right, so we'll begin this. I'll just give you a brief introduction about this course, air navigation. Okay, we're having 4 books, as this book is giving us general navigation is the first book. Okay, so we'll be taking care of journal nav in this. The second book which we're going through is radio navigation. Okay, I've not given you the whole amount of notes right now because it's not important at the moment. If you wish, I would definitely share you the notes of all the subjects. Then we have the instruments. Okay, and finally we'll be diving into mass and balance and performance. Okay, so as we know, this is the first book. This will give you the fundamental things required for the next subjects also. Okay, we'll start with direction, latitude, and longitude. Some of you might already know all this, but as I told you, we'll be going into a depth manner. Okay, so what do we see here? It's basically these digits which are unknown to some of us, and actually a person who has seen this first, he or she will definitely not know what these are. Okay, they will either not know what are these lines or what is a prime meridian equator. So once we complete the chapter today, we complete the class today, you will actually know all these things and you will know what's the meaning of it. Not just what it means, you will also know how it is formed. In order to realize all that, we need to realize what the earth actually looks like. Okay, of course, it is not a sphere. Okay, it's natural heavenly body, it's not a proper sphere. If you talk about, then what is it? It is a geoid. And now what is a geoid? If I simply compress a tennis ball or a basketball, okay, from two sides, when I compress it, it forms a shape like this. Okay, it will form a shape like this, which is compressed from two sides equally, and that is known as geoid, ellipsoid, or an oblate spheroid. These three terms mean the same thing. Okay, and the shape is present on the right side also. You can see the dotted line. The dotted line represents the real shape of the earth. Now, of course, there is a mathematical term given to calculate how much is it compressed. Okay, that is known as the flattening or the compression. That value is 0.3%. That is 1 by 300. Most of you must be curious or maybe curious how this formed. We'll get to that. Okay, we'll get to that how it's formed. Basically, we know something called North Pole now and South Pole. If you don't know, then I'll explain you in the next coming slides. But here, you know, something exists like North Pole and South Pole. Those are the extremities that you can go up and down. If we connect these 2 points, the North Pole and the South Pole, this line is known as the polar diameter. Okay, let's call it number 1. This is diameter number 1 or polar diameter. If we take another line, let's say I'll draw it from a line which cuts the earth into 2 equal parts. This is also known as equator. Now this line here represents the equatorial diameter, and we'll call it number 2. So if I have 2 minus 1 divided by 2, I will get the compression or the flattening value. Now if you see, why is number 2 more than 1? Simple logic. If you're compressing from the poles, we'll get the horizontal value more than the vertical. Okay, still not satisfied, we'll go into the formula and apply it directly. So if we calculate the diameters properly, this is my north, this is my south, the polar diameter comes around this 6,865 nautical mile. Don't worry, I'll explain you what is nautical mile. We'll get into that. And if you see the equatorial, so this is the equator. So the equatorial diameter comes around 6,888 nautical mile. You can see the difference. There is a small difference of 23 nautical mile. Okay, that is why we have something known as compression or flattening. So if you put these values, we have an answer approximately 1 by 300, which is equal to 0.3%. Now you know how to calculate it. Now you also know the proper formula and you also know the value. So if anything comes in the DCSA exam, you may be able to solve it. Let's come to the real Earth. Okay, I just discussed the real Earth is not a sphere. It is a shape known as what? Can someone tell me? Yeah, it's already given here, geoid. Shizan, can you tell me another name of this?
Ellipsoid.
Ellipsoid, oblate, spheroid. Okay, I'll just quickly go ahead. I'll ask Chandan, are you able to hear me? Okay, static. Chandan, there is a lot of static coming in your microphone. Uh, yeah, can you just remove the microphone or your headphone jack, something like that? Yeah, I would request you to reconnect once. I'll pause here for some time. You can reconnect, or I'll write it. Okay. Till then, we'll discuss. Ayush, can you just tell me what is the compression value? Okay. Now we know all these facts. Chandan, there is still a static coming. I will request you to just answer me in the chat box. Okay. Keep your microphone off. You can answer me in the chat box. We'll solve this issue in the next before the next class. Okay, now we know these values. This is the values of the real Earth. We have to talk about something else. Now you can't just have multiple engineers and mathematicians or scientists come together and tell you what the real shape of the Earth is. You need a particular standard. Okay, that standard, just like you have DGCA, Directorate General of Civil Aviation, that is responsible for all these procedures, rules, and regulations in India. For the world, we have something known as ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization. Now, this decides what is right, what is wrong, according to for the whole world in the aviation organization. Okay, so if you have your ICAO saw all these things happening, and they adopted. Yeah, definitely, it's International Civil Aviation Organization. Okay, whereas DGCA is Directorate General of Civil Aviation. Okay, we'll be discussing all this in the regulations, but of course, somewhere you have to link everything. Everything is linked actually. So ICAO, they saw this coming, and what it did is it realized they have to make one thing standard. And of course, WGS is something in 1984, USA came up with this. Scientists and the mathematicians, the engineers came up with WGS 84. Now, if you can see on the right side, there's an image, and the dark green line is the WGS 84. That is the real shape that people thought and proved exist of the Earth. WGS stands for World Geodetic. Now I'll explain you what is geodetic and all in this chapter only. System. World Geodetic System in the 1984 was decided as a standard, and everyone in the world who will be using the ICAO procedures and all will actually follow this World Geodetic System. All right. So this is something a fact. Then again, one more fact lies that the Earth itself is not rotating on just a linear axis or your horizontal axis. Okay, if we were talk about the real Earth, it is tilted by 23.5 degrees to the axis of rotation. or yeah, this is the axle rotation. I'll use another pen. You can see the Earth is inclined by 23.5 degrees. Why I'm telling you all this? Because I want you to start actually imagining. Okay, I don't want you to focus on notes. I don't want you to focus on everything. Okay, Rupesh is right. Yeah, hi Rupesh, welcome. Good afternoon. A little late, huh? Okay, you're lucky that we're doing the chapter you've already done in the demo and all, so you're not missed a lot. Okay, so yeah, okay, let's continue. I'm telling you that the inclination of the Earth is approximately 23.5 degrees. And why I'm telling you all this is basically I want you to start realizing and imagining. When you imagine all this chapter, every portion in this chapter is basically your imagination. If you're not able to imagine it, then you will be lagging behind. So this is something else. This is what the real Earth looks like. Okay. The compression ratio, the shape is geoid, oblate, spheroid, all this. Then we have WGS 84 combined together forms the Earth. Now let's come to the chapter itself. Direction on the Earth. On what basis can we decide whether left, right, center, what is that? Okay, you can't ask a pilot, go straight and turn left. Okay, there is no point in telling him that. So we need some directions on Earth. It's not just the aviation. What was before aviation? Can someone tell me? Before we had roadways and airways, what did exist? Okay, Chandan, did someone hear it? Is able to hear him? No. Okay, Rupesh, ships. Perfect. Okay. So what do ships do? What do ships do? They use the seaways or the water bodies. Now, when someone is sailing, they also need a direction. Okay, you can't tell someone that you can go ahead and from the land you turn left. Okay, there is nothing like this. We need a direction. And how did the direction come upon? They came upon with the magnet or the magnetic compass. Of course, we needed a datum. Okay, when you wake up, you see something else. You see a sunrise. Wherever the sun was rising, people assumed it to be the direction called east. Okay, so sun, if suppose that in reality sun was rising on the right or the left, they would have told this is the direction. Okay, so as people saw, whatever the ships, the sailors saw that of course the sun is rising from the east. Okay, sun is rising from a particular period, and that is the direction called east. So of course it is setting somewhere else, and they called it west. This was the preliminary times when people did not have any knowledge of what it is happening and what is actually happening. Okay, and the scientists and the astronomers which actually gave the correct information, they used to be jailed. They used to be given punishments that you are wrong. Anyways, we proceed forward. We became more intellectual. We accepted the opinions, and then we found out, and actually, we are having a magnetic compass that points towards the pole, and that direction will be known as north. The north direction is, if I draw a circle now, okay, when I draw a circle and I calculate the degrees or the angular rotation, I will see that I am at the starting point. This is termed as 0. So my north is termed as 0 degrees. As I go to the right, where the sun rises for the other, okay, it becomes my easterly heading. Now easterly became 90 degrees because simple mathematics, this is 90 degrees in angle. So easterly was called 900. Then I came to something else. This kept on going on, and I realized that I have another direction in 270. Okay, so this became 270. And I came back to my initial datum or my reference point, which was north. It became 360. So you will hear most pilots saying 360 instead of 0 because 0 is something which people get confused. But 360, no one can get confused because after that, you restart the clock. And that is how the directions came into existence. And we adapted all this from the sailing of the ships into the aviation industry. Now, I'll not go into depth. This is very preliminary knowledge, but I wanted to share all this. So, humans have a very, very peculiar nature. Okay. First, they did not accept these opinions. When they did accept the opinions, they wanted more accuracy. Okay, so when what we had were known as cardinal points, okay, we came to something else known as quadrantal directions. Now, if you can see the picture, I draw the same circle, okay, and I have the same reference 0 at 45-degree angle. There exists something called northeast, northeast, just in the center of north and my east, and that came to be termed northeast. It's a simple math, simple logic that people were getting confused whether to go north, whether to go east. Simply they would be northeast. Okay, this was the time when we don't have anything like VOR, ILS, and all that. If we had the compass, and for the compass we wanted something more accurate. Okay, just for example purposes, I'll give you a trick. Most of you already know this. If you want to remember, cardinal came before Q, and in our alphabetic series also we have C before Q, or Charlie before Quebec. All right, so you need to go to the phonetics also. Okay, phonetics is what? A is for alpha. Okay, all that. B Bravo. I'll share you. You can find it on the internet also, because I'll be mostly using all these, and you'll be also using throughout your journey and as a pilot. All right. So these actions are known as quadrantal directions. Now let's come to the point. After people did become intellectual and they did understand these opinions, they actually realized that if I'm an astronaut and I go into outer space, I will see that the Earth is rotating. And the Earth is rotating from my North Pole. If I look, it is rotating in an anti-clockwise manner. Okay, opposite to the clock. And if I go to the South Pole, it will rotate in a clockwise manner. And that is where I want you guys to do the imagination. If you can't, don't worry, I have this video. Okay, it's a continuous loop. And if I have my sun here, let's say, okay, this is my sun. You can see for a person who is coming in this direction, or the earth is rotating, so he does not have to move. I am sitting here, the earth is rotating. For him or her, the sun will always be looking as if it is rising in the east. Okay, so you can see for a person waking up here, always this is an easterly direction. Okay, after a time it comes overhead and then it becomes westerly. For him, the sun is setting in the west. Okay, why? Because if he is facing in the east direction, it will be opposite. So if this is east, for him this will be west. So it's on the back side. We'll get to these things. Okay, no need to be afraid of. I'll get to these points also if you don't imagine right now, of course. That is why people got to know that it's the earth rotating that's making realize it's the sun that is rising in the east. Anyways, we came to the directions because of the magnetic compass. Okay, now let's come to the second part of the chapter, which is also known as directions, longitudes, and latitudes. Now, when we realize directions, we also need some points. Okay, we need some values, mathematical values, and those were termed as latitudes and longitudes. We'll see them. In order to understand what is latitude and longitude, you need to understand that we need a reference. We need a datum or a zero value. Okay, we'll take an example of anyone's house. Let's take my house. If I am at my house right now and I'm asked to buy some groceries, okay, so I will basically move out of my house, go somewhere, wander, and come back to my house again. That is the same thing happens on Earth. Okay, on Earth also something comes as a zero. I go north or south. Let's say I'm going south. I'm going in southerly direction. Then I'll go left, so it becomes west, and then I come back. So I come back to north. I come to 0 point. But this repeats itself on the Earth, and the datums. The first datum is called the equator. Equator is simply a circle, but in a two-dimensional figure, you can see it is a line. I'll show you the 3D also. So in a 3D, this is a circle. Equator is a great circle which cuts the Earth into two equal parts. The upper one is known as North Hemisphere. The below one is known as Southern Hemisphere. So equator becomes my datum or 0 degree to go up or down. If I go up, I am going to the north part. If I'm going down, I'm in the Southern Hemisphere.